Hey guys, it's me Sai from Data Science Era, and in this video I'm gonna cover nested if. Well, what is that? Nested if means when you can use one condition inside another conditions. Let me show you how exactly it works. So till now we have learned how can you use if and else condition. However, here you can use some conditions inside the if condition. So here at first I wrote down if conditions, then inside if I have used three different conditions, one for if, another for if, another for else. When you use your conditions this way, we call it nested if. This is one way you can write down nested if. Another way is that you can use some condition inside the else condition. So previously here all the conditions was inside the if conditions, but in another structure, which is another possible way here, all the conditions can be inside the else conditions. Good. Let me show you that with one simple example. Let's say you want to check if a number is positive or negative and if those number is the divisor of 3 or not. Well, as I said at first, always try to think that whether or how the algorithm should works. So for the positive or negative, you should write down like 3 conditions or 2 conditions. So for example, one can be like for greater than 0, another can be like less than 0. If you want, you can use equal to 0 as well. So what I'm gonna do at first, let me write down a is equal to integer input. That means I want to assign a random number for the variable a. So let's say the number is 23. Okay, now I want to check whether 23 is positive or negative and it's a divisor of 3 or not. So let me write down my conditional statement with this code. Now our first condition can be like if a greater than 0, the number should be positive, right? And think about it. If a number is divisor of 3, it has to be positive. If it's negative, it can never ever be a divisor of 3. Well, when I say divisor of 3, it means if those number is divided by 3, the remainder has to be 0, right? So what I understood is that inside this if condition, now I should add 2 other conditions as well to check whether those number is a divisor of 3 or not. Because for the negative conditions, the divisor condition doesn't apply. So here, let me write down some other condition inside the if conditions. So the first condition should be like, if it is divided by 3, which means I need to write a% 3. It means when a divided by 3, how the remainder looks like. Double equals 0. It means I'm asking, hey, is the remainder looks like equal to 0 or not? And when it's equal to 0, I need to print the statement that it's a positive number and it's a divisor of 3. That's what I wrote. You can write down in another way if you want inside the print functions, okay? Good. Now, what is the remaining conditions? The remaining condition is that when it is not divided by 3, it's not a divisor of 3, right? So that means else. Else means the opposite things of our previous condition. So for these cases, it should look like that it's positive, but it's not a divisor of 3. So that's one way you can look at this problem. There are multiple ways I think you can solve this problem, by the way. So now I need to write, what if the number is not greater than 0? When the number is not greater than 0, I need to simply write else print a is negative. When a is negative, automatically it's not a divisor of 3. You can also write down a is negative and not divisor of 3. Let me just copy that real quickly. Okay, good. Now let me see if our code is working fine or not. So if I hit the run button, here it is asking me to input the number again. Let me input 23 again. Now it says, oh, it's a positive, but it's not a divisor of 3. As you know, 23 is not divided by 3, right? That's why it's not a divisor of 3. So that's one way you can write down the nested if statement in Python programming. Another way you can solve this problem is that you can write down this multiple condition inside the else condition. So let me copy that real quickly. What I'm gonna do here, let me copy these two condition inside the else condition, and let me remove this, and let me copy the else condition inside the if condition. Okay, that means just print line in the if. So now the if should looks like, if L less than 0, print me that A is negative and A is not a divisor of 3. However, if it's the opposite, that means when A is greater than 0, that means when A is positive, we need to check whether it's a divisor of 3 by looking at the remainder value. So that now the nested if is now inside the else condition. That's how similarly you can write down nested if. By the way, one problem or in this situation is that I did not consider A is equal to 0. When A is equal to 0, I should assign another condition. For that, I can print simply A is equal to 0 and it's not a divisor of 3. Okay, so for that reason, you can add like if in between that, and you can write down A double equals 0. So anyway, that's a little bit ideas of how can you check or how can you use nested if. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.